Okay, we
Finally
are
made it home.
live here. What's going on, Mr. Dave?
Finally made it home to Texas.
Texas, huh?
Getting
How was
ready.
Mexico?
Yeah, yeah. We got kicked out of Mexico. We were
You
there
got
for our 6 months.
you got
We
kicked
didn't get
out.
kicked out, but we had a 6 month tourist visa, and it was going to run out. And with the COVID and everything, we decided that we'd leave a little early. But we waited for things to settle down. First, it was a little, unsure, at first, but they had some roads blocked and things like that. But after a month or so, it calmed down, and we loaded up and drove home.
Yeah. Last time you were on video, you had a beard and I was clean shaven. Now I got a beard and you're clean shaven. What's
Yeah, yeah,
what's up? What's up with that?
yeah.
um. Yeah. This COVID stuff has been really crazy, man. I mean, we don't even know what the hell it is. Is it real? Is it not real? But I heard that Steven has COVID now.
Yeah, I saw Sandy Greenman made a post, and I just made a video asking people to make some noise, to let everybody know that everybody's watching, that they hopefully won't let them die in prison or something, But there's
Well,
nothing. I mean, what's
it's
that going
kind
to
of
do? Nothing, you
it's
know.
it's kind of funny because a couple of months ago we made a video about Stephen Avery could contract COVID-19, and I was called a dumbass probably by 1,000 people that there was no such thing that could ever happen in this equation. But now here Stephen is with COVID-19, and to me, it's a little suspicious coming in after the courts opening back up.
Yeah, I don't know the details. I know that some doctor there had it and something, but I don't know how many people have had it there, and how he supposedly caught it, or even if he was on lockdown, or were they letting him out? I mean, were they under?
Well,
They couldn't get
well,
visitors.
back in February when we went live, the prison doctor had traveled somewhere and contracted it and brought it back. And then supposedly 18 inmates had got it and were quarantined. So, I mean, I don't know, if they're letting them out the day rooms or whatever, but those people were supposedly quarantined. But it's just it's just funny that here we have the brief being, the response by the state, and here Stephen is with COVID-19 all of a sudden, which he did state he had light symptoms, but I mean, you know this thing's unpredictable as well as I do, as well as anybody else should.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing. And even if is he does it completely get like a full onslaught of COVID-19, what the hell is Wisconsin capable of? And I guess that's what you really need to make noise for, because
Yeah.
I guess they need to know that somebody's watching. Because
Yeah.
if
No, we
if
don't trust them. You know.
if he's gonna get his day in court right now, between now and tomorrow, would be the perfect damn time to knock him off.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, all the stuff they've done so far that we know they've done. I mean, anything's possible. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, when you don't even let medical examiners come on to a burn pit area, then I mean, is Stephen going to get proper care in Waupun Correctional Institution?
yeah. I don't know. I. It doesn't sound good. It sure.
Because that was one of my main concerns 2 months ago when we were live, and oh my god, people were like, Steven will never get COVID. Chad, you're fucking stupid. And I'm like, okay, he's a candidate just like anybody else in America or the
Yeah.
world over. But yeah, my suspicion is, even if they you know got the virus out of the prison. It's all been fumigated. They've been going around spraying their um, water and peroxide mixtures with the big tanks and the canisters that they do. I mean, how many other people in the prison right now have it?
nobody
you know.
knows. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard
Um,
anything except for what Sandy said, and I think it was a Facebook post I saw right before I talked to you. And
and visitation's been shut down for a while now, right? I mean, hasn't
I'm
it?
since COVID, I guess nobody's been visiting the way I understand it.
Right. So how does Stephen Avery just all of a sudden get it right when the courts open back up? That's discerning to say the least. I mean, you have you have one of the most famous profiled prisoners in the world right now, and court opens back up. We're going with the response with the state, and here he is, COVID-19 light symptoms. Stephen, even if he has light symptoms or not, he could just be saying light symptoms just not to scare anybody. I mean, there's no telling what's going
Yeah,
on with it.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
there's two different kind of trains of thought from what I've seen. Like supposedly people that are in prison, their immune system is supposed to be good because they're exposed to so much, they're around so many
mhm.
people. But on the other hand, they got the shittiest food. They probably don't get vitamins. They don't get any sunlight. They're probably vitamin D deficient. So
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it could go
I
either
mean,
way.
your immune system might be a little stronger, but most people do kind of keep a common cold, like a raspy throat or just a slight runny nose, and that's more than likely the humidity in the prison itself, because you got concrete structure and steel walls and stuff. So,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't necessarily contribute that to like a cold, as in just a virus or just your general cold, but you do have some respiratory problems. I mean, just slight, and that's because of the structure of the facility. Naturally with the humidity that it's able to keep inside of it.
yeah. Look at the
So.
meat cutting plants. They got those people stuffed in there too, and it's cool. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
concrete and stainless steel. It's almost this all these hard surfaces, and supposedly it's supposed to live on hard surfaces better too. So
Right, right.
you know,
They have first come out and said, "Oh, it can live on plastic and stainless steel and concrete," and then they're saying, "Oh, it doesn't live on no surfaces whatsoever." So this thing is so unpredictable. Steven symptoms could go from light symptoms to dead by noontime. I mean,
yeah.
according to Wisconsin, I mean, if you want to kill the man, and that's dangerous. And I really don't think people realize how dangerous Wisconsin is. I honestly don't believe that they get the appreciation of how dangerous they are.
Yeah,
It's a dangerous state. It's a very dangerous state.
yeah, and he's probably on one of the top of the list people that they'd like to see go away.
Well, yeah, it's a $1 billion problem right now. I mean, all these appeals coming back up. If Stephen Avery ever walks through free, you know, I've been reviewing Stephen's timeline, and I've kind of had just a whole different vision of the way I've been going about with things. But I still don't believe he got a fair trial. I still kind of think he was more or less a ticking time bomb. But the man still didn't get a fair trial, and
Yeah, neither time.
um, if you're gonna convict somebody, it's like Johnny Cochran, O.J. Simpson's trial attorney. He said he used to have this big billboard that said, "Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty," right? And I mean, we had the civil liberties to be murderers, and you had the civil liberty to remain free until you're fairly convicted. And no matter what the prosecution's theory was, the prosecution's theory was bullshit. But I would like to see a new trial at least. I mean, even if a person is guilty, like people sit there and thought about Casey Anthony. Oh, this bitch should rot in hell and all this stuff. That's the way our American justice system should work. If you don't got a conviction, you shouldn't throw people in prison. But the same thing, they want to throw state Casey Anthony in is the same thing that Stephen Avery basically goes to prison for, and they're like, hey, let Stephen out, but let's put Casey Anthony in. It's like there's no difference there. If you don't have a smoking gun, if you don't have a proper conviction, nobody should be in, you know?
Yeah, that's for
I mean,
sure.
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
Whether you're guilty or not, if you can't convict a person guilty being fair, you shouldn't be fucking in prison. You know?
yeah.
You're running down to Mexico. You could be a serial killer right now for all we know. It's your civil liberty to stay
Yeah.
free and kill people. If you haven't been convicted, you got that God-given right, supposedly. But I can't tell in Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery's case.
Yeah, as soon as the facts came out in the trial, I was calling bullshit right away. You know, it just seemed like everything was wrong. You know, and then you find out after Making a Murder comes out about how the jury was handled and all the things that happened with the jury. I mean, just that alone should be at least a retrial or something. You know,
mm-hmm. Well,
you know,
like I said 100 times over, if Stephen Avery gets an appeal at this level, it will be an embarrassment to the state of Wisconsin. And I really honestly don't think they want to open this can of worms at this level. And look who's one of the fucking attorneys for the state on this. What the hell is that? Peg Lautenschlager's son sit on this response as one of the attorneys for the state. You know, I mean, that's just wrong. I mean,
it's
that's the
nepotism
hugest
at the
conflict of
worst
interest.
levels. You know? Nepotism at
Yeah.
the worst level, the worst. You know, at the worst. That shouldn't even be allowed. He should have to recuse himself. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's an appearance of impropriety. It's a severe conflict. He should be gone. He shouldn't even be touching this case. And here he is, you know, one of the attorneys on this actual response right now. And
Yeah.
I mean, that just lets you know how high this goes up. That the attorney general is protecting this. You know.
Yeah. And what's the thing they said now? They said the bones they gave back to the Hallbucks were deer bones or animal bones. Is that their latest
Animal
thing?
bones. I mean, there's no proof of human.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, what the hell does that mean?
Well, let's put it this way: there's proof of those bones found where they were because they used another fucking excavator and no photo off the place and cash on the coroner to review the site. They're like, nope, you got to stay out of here, and that's why.
I think I lost you, Chad.
Thing. I lost you there too for a second, but everything just
No,
went
I couldn't hear
blank.
anything.
um, I was saying, you know, the bones you had they brought the front end loader, the excavator, they dug them up, and then like Deb Kakash, they kept her away from there. It's because those bones were never in the burn pit to begin with.
Yeah, probably.
You're not gonna take no photographs. You're not gonna grid off the site, and then you're not gonna allow a coroner to examine anything. You know,
Didn't they say because they
if
didn't
you
do
find
like
a body where it but you froze up.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can't hear what you're saying. Now I can.
Oh, okay. What were you saying? You said something.
Didn't somebody say
because
they didn't do a grid search like they're supposed to, you know, like lay out a grid and go forensically, and they didn't do that because they admitted that it was tampered with.
After you run over it with a front end loader, that's pretty much
yeah,
tampered.
you know,
So So whether those bones are human, whether they're animal, whether they're aliens, if aliens put them there, like Brian Karkashi says, you know, we have no idea. There's they weren't proven in a fair trial that they were ever human, ever.
Yeah.
You know,
And all,
and so he,
once the state, all the people that did all this bad stuff with, not collecting the evidence right and planting a key, even Kratz kind of admitted that even if the key was planted statement, how can you trust any of the evidence anymore? Any of it is, it's like they've contaminated everything, you know. So any kind of DNA that they sent to the FBI, where did that come from? It's just, they almost need to start over,
and
somehow.
And see, that's what I'm afraid of right now. If Josh Call is one of the attorneys on this response, this brief for this appellate, they ain't gonna let Stephen Avery get no damn new trial. They ain't gonna let Stephen Avery get a new
They
trial.
can. They can. It'll be just like you said. It'll be a big disgrace. They'll get.
They'll be the laughing stock
be,
of the United States of America. Any judicial system in America. And so yeah, I mean, I guess just keep your eye on this COVID-19 and see if it turns from light symptoms to worse symptoms. Because, I mean, if any proper judge reviews this, and if they review it and they say, hey, we got some severe issues here, they would give Stephen Avery a case. If not, I mean, I guess your only choice left is to kill him. If he's going to go through. I mean, how long can you keep him from getting a new case?
I don't know. It seems like a never-ending battle. They just sit and the lawyers sit and write down all their fancy words and all their, secret handshakes and everything them people do. It's like it's just looking like a bigger,
the gentleman's agreements.
Yeah, it's like it's all wrong. It's
they've been having a lot of gentlemen's agreements in this case since the beginning.
Yeah, and how if you get accused of something like this, if you're not a millionaire, you're screwed. And how that's just fundamentally wrong. That if you don't have a whole bunch of money, it's just fundamentally wrong that you can be exposed to this kind of stuff.
I mean, apparently, even if you have a couple $100,000 to spend, you're screwed. And a couple $100,000 on an attorney, that's a lot of money. I mean, it ain't shit in the judicial system, but it's still a lot of money to the average person. A couple $100,000, So,
yeah. You start getting all these experts and laboratories and Jerry Buting. I mean, them guys, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think they should have done a lot of that pro bono, because Jerry Buting was already working on a lot of on every incident that was involved in Stephen Avery's case. He already volunteered 4 years of his volunteer services to the Avery Task Force and to political, the political measures surrounding the exoneration. So why the hell didn't they just take it on, for free? He was already tackling the same exact incidences,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Then he says, the money ran out. Number one, you put Brendan Dassey on the testimony on the witness stand to testify, and give testimony, because anything they would have used Brendan Dassey for, none of the evidence would have came back to Stephen or Brendan on Brendan's confession, So why the hell do you take? Why do you seal 9 documents and just keep Brendan Dassey out of the thing purposely? And that was Jerry Buting and Dean Strang's choice, to not call Brendan Dassey as a co-defendant.
You think they'd be able to call Brendan on the stand and just tear him apart? I mean, prove that he's completely unable to.
Right. But here's the thing though, when it comes to that confession, you still don't have any evidence correlating any of it.
Yeah.
The evidence in Stephen Avery's trial would have proved without beyond a reasonable doubt that nothing ever fucking happened. Nothing. That's what it would have proven, you know. And then you have Jerry Buden, who wrote the the law that Brendan was monitored under, you know, and the coercion. So that's one of the top leading experts right there in the state for that situation was Jerry Buden himself, because he spent from December 23rd of 2003 working on that very exact law, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what better person to tackle all that than Jerry Buden?
Yeah.
But oh, you're not gonna get expert witnesses, you're not gonna call Brendan. It pisses me off. I mean, they should be really ashamed of themselves, you know.
For sure. Look at
Seriously.
all the internet sleuths that went through everything and found all sorts of shit that Jerry Buting never even knew. I mean, it was all right there. Not, never mind the stuff that was held from him, but there was all sorts of stuff that these sleuths from Reddit and stuff found. And Buting and Strang are like, oh gosh, we didn't really have time to read everything. We were too busy fucking off.
Yeah, it's a disaster. I mean, I did not believe that Stephen Avery got a fair trial whatsoever. Now I on a timeline, and I do see a lot of things. To me, it kind of feels like Zellner sees his innocence, but he's projecting the Penny Bernstein thing to her, and he's able to project it. I just don't think Stephen really has a conscience post exoneration. Honestly, don't. I mean, you listen to the jailhouse phone calls. If you just study his behavior, the man was a ticking time bomb. He got out of prison. He had no mental health services. They just let you go after 18 years. He's really heavily into porn at the time. Not saying that porn causes anything, but I mean, you got a mixture of PTSD. You got all this shit. Steven sits there and lies to us and making a murderer. He goes, when he left prison, all the anger went away. I'm sorry, but 18 years of anger just doesn't fucking go away, dude. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we can tell in the jailhouse that he's pissed off at a lot of stuff. I mean,
but he never dropped
two
the
sides
ball.
to him.
He never dropped the ball on any of those calls. He never said anything that would make you think that he did anything. I mean, we know now what they were telling him. They were telling him things, and he didn't even know it at the time. But it's I can't remember the exact details, but all the calls don't make him sound guilty at all. At all.
I mean, there's concerns in them to me. I mean, I just have a change of light about him, about his mentality. The prosecution certainly never proved guilt, and in my opinion of guilt, I mean, it's just an opinion, which opinions are like assholes. Everyone has any, but if you're going to be in prison, you got to prove it. You need to be able to prove it. We need to do away with.
Did you see the part where they
we need to do away with?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The part where they took Jody in and played his other phone calls to some other woman. I mean, what the hell was that?
Right. I mean, they were grasping at straws. They were even they planted. I mean, they basically embellished everything. I mean,
yeah.
Everything got embellished by the process. But it goes back to the NCSI effect. You sit here and watch these made for TV cop shows. Every one of these fucking cops go rogue during these shows to get who they want to prosecute, right? They're all going off the grid. They're doing a lot of them, you see a lot of civil liberties being violated on these television shows. And though they're scripted, they caught this person, even though that person was guilty. Even though that person is guilty, if you can't catch them fairly, you shouldn't be sent to prison. You know, I mean, honestly.
Yeah, they portrayed him like he was some sort of like he was didn't have female companionship, or he was lacking female companionship. It sounds like he had plenty of women. You know, I mean, there were so many women
He had
around him.
Marie, he had Jody. Supposedly, he had Teresa. I mean,
You know, there was quite a few that he was talking on the phone, and you know, it isn't like he had a, you know, like he was, I don't know what you want to call it, like I don't know how to say it nice, but I'm kind of breaking up again.
oh yeah, Debbie. He had Debbie too.
Yeah, you know, he wasn't like lacking in female companionship, you know, to make him go out and want to rape and kill somebody. You know, he doesn't portray that really. You know, I mean, he had anger issues, but you know, anger issues and then going all the way to the point of kidnapping and raping and torturing and all that kind of stuff. That's a pretty big leap, you know.
Yes, it's pretty big. I mean, it's a big leap. But now, so here he is with COVID-19, sitting in prison. Only days after his response brief comes back. I mean, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Just have to see where it goes.
I hope he doesn't die. You know, it's
Well,
not the
I
way
mean,
this
that would be Wisconsin's biggest prayer right now would be that he dies. I mean,
might take Zellner off the hook too.
Yeah, Zellner would be out the hook. It's not like she's really tackled this thing hard enough any damn way. She's what I like to call the loophole artist. She looks for technicalities, you know, and you can't get Steven off of a fucking technicality in the state of Wisconsin. They're just going to make their own laws up as they go along, you know. So right now, I mean, have you had a chance to digest the response of the state? Have you? It's like it's literally like they're making shit up as they go along, and
they learn a new word.
They're superimposing all these citations and different laws and stuff, and they're like
the
they're literally word. Just making shit up. They're making shit up.
They say you can't bring evidence piecemeal, you know.
Right.
You know, it's like Zellner really put together a lot of shit. You know what I mean? That was not what Zellner did. Was not piecemeal. You know, she did a lot of work.
I mean, if your legislation and your political structure for your state sits there and puts together a thing in the Steve bill, start preserving biological matter, then how the hell do you just give the bones away in 2011 and now here in 2020 he's not allowed to challenge that evidence, and it's okay if they gave the bones away. We don't have to preserve them. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and the RAV4 too. They won't let Zellner see the RAV4. I don't even know if that exists anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Boyd's got some good things on that. He about had a heart attack, I think, when you showed him that one down in Mexico.
It was just weird as hell, you know. Because we always notice RAV4s now. You know,
right? It's one of those vehicles. It's one of those vehicles. Once you see it, you're like, oh, there's a RAV4. I think everybody who follows Making a Murderer does the same thing. If you're driving down the road, it don't matter where the hell you're at. If you see a RAV4, you see a RAV4. They just stand out everywhere.
Now, we were there for a couple of weeks, and it was undercover. And I was just looking at the profile of it. And I was like, that looks like a RAV4. And the neighbor wasn't there. We pulled the cover up. It's like, no shit, a green one too.
No, the handles on that thing painted black, or were they all?
They were black. It was all black. The plastic was black.
Bumper black, everything.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
I've seen. Funny. I think every one of them that made it in the United States got brought down to Mexico and Baja. because you see them all
Mm-hmm.
over the place down there. And I've seen so many green ones and so many blue ones that I guarantee you're not going to mistake them colors. There's no way you can look at one and think it's blue and it's green. They really stand out, blue or green.
Right, and see that's another thing like that really made me think about some things with Steven. Why the hell did he keep saying that she had a green Rav4? And then you had Bobby call it blue, a teal color. You had Stephen P. Smith's call it blue. Um, Brendan was even calling it green until the 28th of February. Then apparently someone had directed him to say bluish green or greenish blue because he had always kept it being green up to that point. Now, if I see a lady drive a green RAV4 on my property and I go to court and the son of a bitch is blue in court and it's not the same vehicle, I'm gonna cuss somebody's ass out, dude. I mean, I'm gonna be like, this ain't her vehicle.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't see Steven doing that, which has bothered me to a certain degree because I mean, if Stephen Avery saw it was green, then he's seen it more times than anybody else. So how can you easily accept the blue one? And why the hell does Kathleen Zellner buy a fucking blue one?
No, it doesn't. Well, there was a blue one in the salvage yard. That one was blue for sure, right? So
Right, but Steven identifies it as green. And like you
yeah,
said, you just can't mistake those colors, green
I
or
don't think
blue. I
so.
mean, it's either one or I mean, you've seen them close up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I
Yeah,
see them all the time driving by. It's either green or blue, and he never calls it blue. You have Stephen P. Smith call it blue. You have Bobby call it blue. Anybody else that seen what? Why does Stephen call it green? I'm just
maybe.
saying I would have raised hell. I would have
Yeah,
raised hell if you send me to prison with a blue Rav4 and I seen a green one come on my property on multiple accounts. I'd be like, this ain't even the damn right vehicle. So
yeah.
either someone is projecting or someone is colorblind or something's going on there. I mean, take your pick. So yeah, take your pick on that. I gotta ride up the road here, but I mean it's good talking to you. Glad you're back in America. You probably be safer in Mexico right now, with all this dumb shit right,
Maybe.
with all this
Yeah,
riot
maybe.
stuff going on. Phew.
Yeah.
Hey, are y'all close to any riots where you're at?
No, we're a long ways from anywhere. We're hundreds of miles from any big city.
Well,
So
okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm in the small little cities too, so I'm 50 minutes from Atlanta, but I mean, they keep all that garbage out that way. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, we're
some crazy stuff going on. But yeah, just everybody just be aware of what's going on with Steven and this COVID-19 because the way Wisconsin operates, they can strangle them tonight, poison them, choke them out, and say, "Oh, he's Wisconsin."
yeah.
I
You
would
never
not
know.
put it past.
They can put them on a ventilator and turn it up and kill them. That's been
Yeah,
happening too.
ventilators are dangerous for people.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
dangerous.
yeah. So yeah, if he dies, they better have
But
about 10 different doctors do the autopsy. you know.
right, yeah, they'll have to end up pulling one out of Louisiana or something because no one will touch it for so many states. They'll be like, "We'll come out there and get it."
Yeah, we'll
I'll
see.
go
We'll
do an
see.
autopsy.
We'll see what happens. There's really nothing any
All
of us
right,
can
man.
do.
Right. Well, it's good hearing from you, talking to you, and I guess we'll just keep everybody posted in the news. Just everybody keep your eyes on the situation because this can get dangerous right here. It can
Yeah,
get suspicious.
yeah,
I called it 2 months ago. We went live, and people would call me a dumbass. Oh, Steven's not going to get COVID-19. He'll never get COVID. Well, I mean, I don't think it discriminates. I don't think it's prejudiced.
No, that was a good call. I mean, prisons are known for disease. That's why they stop all the visitation.
Right.
They know that it spreads like
Right.
crazy in there. So.
And I just want to know like the numbers that they've been keeping since they quarantined the 18, and how long has it been like flushed out, and when did it come back? Like is Stephen Avery the first inmate to get it in the last several weeks? I mean, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. There's been nothing on the news about Waupun having some sort of outbreak. I watched the news for Wisconsin, and there's been nothing about it. So it's kind of sprung on us.
Right. Yeah. And they're not going to tell you anything about Stephen. I mean, everybody already knows everything's generally made up now. So I'll be surprised if they don't make a local post about it this evening out there that says, "Hey, famed Netflix murderer Stephen Avery has contracted COVID-19." And if that happens,
you would think.
If that happens, everybody just be prepared for the worst, because they already got it planned. So
there'll be 1,000 haters on there saying, "Good, I hope he dies," and shit. So people are.
All right, man. Well, I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be safe. Everybody out there, take care. Glad y'all are back in the States and safe. I'll talk to you later, Dave.
Take her easy. Bye.